Hey, I'm Kiné, the leading national certified counselor specializing in financial hypnotherapy for stress. I am working with barbers right now, and outside of my work with barbers, I work with businessmen who are completely stressed out. And let me tell you right now, and I have a podcast called What Keeps You Up at Night. And right now, what keeps me up at night is technology. But what else is keeping me up at night is this whole thing that's going on with Cheyenne Bryant. Cheyenne Bryant, I think that's her name. I don't even know. I don't follow her. I don't listen to her. Maybe 2 years ago, I saw one video with Cheyenne Bryant, and she said something like, "You will always have your trauma. I will always be this girl who," and she talked about her trauma. And she said something somehow about not ever being over your trauma, like you're always your trauma. And I remember telling my partner because he was watching whatever it was that she was on. I don't remember. Maybe it was The Breakfast Club, I think. And so he was watching that, and I overheard it, and I was like, that is not true. Like, do not listen to that, because it's important to me, because a lot of times men are not going to go to therapy. And so if a man hears you, it ain't gonna work. Because a man don't do nothing that's not gonna work. When men go do something, it's because they think it's going to work. It ain't about curiosity. They ain't trying to find out. They're like, right, exactly. A woman, she will go into therapy to see maybe it will work. Maybe I could feel better. It's possible. No, men are like, if it ain't gonna work, why am I gonna go? Not going. So I didn't like that she said that. So I wanted to make sure he knew and he could tell other people if they asked that that's not true. First of all, especially with hypnotherapy. So that happened. So that I kind of tuned her out from the beginning because I didn't like that she said that. And I was like, what kind of therapist would even say that? So that should have been a red flag. And I knew it was a problem, but I didn't know what to do with it. So fast forward these years. Now she's been on social media for about 2 years now. And it sounds like, I don't know because I don't follow her. And my opinion doesn't matter. Let me get clear on that. I'm not giving you my opinion because it matters. I am telling you how what she did affected me. That's what I'm telling you. And so I'm still hearing her here or there, and I'm like, this girl, I was calling her, okay, this is not nice, but I was calling her the slutty therapist. So I was like, oh, is that the slutty therapist? Whenever Jason would hear something, would be listening, like I could hear him listening to something. I'm like, oh, was that the slutty therapist? Like that was the nickname that I had given her. I didn't say it was nice. I'm just telling you what I was doing. So, so I'm watching her in passing, and not as a fan, not even as a colleague, not as even judging, just like, I don't understand what this is. What is this? But what kept coming up is that I could tell that what she was doing was not necessarily therapy. And you will hear me, if over the years, if you've been following me, you have heard me call myself different things. It's two reasons why I do that. One reason why I do that is because some of the things that I do are therapeutic. They are not therapy. So when you hear me say financial hypnotherapist, hypnotherapy is what I do, is how I make the changes that I make in my clients. I pride myself on being a hypnotherapist. I am incredibly proud of that part of the work that I do, because that's the part that really shifts the behavior in my clients. I won't be giving that up. I am certified in that. I've taken 100 hours in hypnotherapy training, but I have 3 years of my in my master's program. And if I had to trade, if they're like, "Well, you gonna call yourself a hypnotherapist or you gonna call yourself a therapist?" I'm gonna go hypnotherapist. I am a mental health counselor. That is what my certification says. It is National Certified Counselor. That is the certification I have. That is the test that I took. I did not get state licensed because I am global. I don't sit in one place. So it would make no sense for me to be state licensed. I am a state licensed barber. My barber license is in Illinois. And you can look that up on the Illinois professional, whatever that website is called. You will find me licensed barber. There was a short period of time where I let my license lapse during COVID because it was so hard to renew and I wasn't living in Illinois. And I was like, never mind, forget it. But once COVID and everything, went away and we were able to communicate with these state departments and stuff like that again, I went ahead and reenacted my license, even though I wasn't cutting. I had not cut in a good like 15 years, but I kept my barber license going. And I don't do therapy in an office in practice 1 week like most therapists do. I do hypnotherapy mostly online or in a retreat setting. And so I keep up my National Certified Counselor designation because that is what, somewhat gives me the credential to do what I do. Now, some of what I do is therapy, some of what I do is therapeutic, and some of what I do is coaching. And I pull that all together to make self sync therapy, to make the therapy that I designed. And let's go back to Cheyenne Bryant. So, the reason why I'm making these distinctions and explaining this to you is because what Cheyenne Bryant did was she got caught up in the madness. She says she wasn't trying to be famous, but she knows better. She knows better. Um, Fame is contagious. It gives you like a dopamine. It gives you, and I know this because I was on a show called Extreme Makeover 20 years over 20 years ago, and I had the privilege of becoming the spokesperson for the show. And some of it was irritating because I don't necessarily feed off of attention. I actually rather not have it than have it. If I have to choose between having it and not having it, I choose not having it. I see it as a responsibility. It's a necessary evil because I there's an impact that I am making. There's a calling that I have on my life. And it almost brings me to tears to talk about it right now because I don't like the fame. And when I did this extreme makeover, I could be sitting in a restaurant with my friend and somebody would come over and like want to interrupt our conversation. And that is not fair to my friend. And I would tell people, I'm having lunch with my friend. Thank you so much for watching the show. But it is her time right now. And it is not fair for me to stop my friend time and give it to you because you don't know me. You do not care about me. And I know you watched the show and I am thankful for that. But my friend was there for me when I was getting teased for the thing that I went on that show for. She has been with me for life through all of this. She deserves my time right now. I work with some celebrities who can't give up, who can't say that and make that distinction. And I think that is what Cheyenne Bryant was going through, that she was becoming famous, right? And she was getting caught up in the windfall of fame, and they will get you to say things and do things, whether it's show producers, whether it's agents. And I'm not saying she was on the up and up either. And I'm thinking her ego was getting to her, and she talked about this pretty privilege and this pretty punishment. And nobody is punishing her for being pretty. They are punishing her for getting caught up in the sauce, like wanting to be famous. They are punishing her because she wasn't honest and omitting some of the truth, and saying enough and crafting language that would make her look like she was somebody she wasn't. That is what she is getting punished for. And I don't think she's a bad person. I think she is an opportunist. But many pretty women are. My significant other, he says, some women are as faithful as their options. And when you're pretty, you have more options. So she was using the pretty privilege to get her where she wanted to go. And she can admit that. It opened doors for her because if she wasn't pretty, and she said she DM'd 50 cents. If she wasn't pretty and she DM'd 50 cents, he wasn't going to respond to her. He responded to her because she is striking. She is easy to look at. She does have a nice body and a beautiful face and the little hair that people the men like. And so as she whether she's wearing her hair straight and long or up in a ponytail or and a lot of men like a ponytail. They don't know they like a ponytail. It's a bit subconscious, but it's something about that ponytail. You see what I'm doing right now, right? That makes them feel some dominance and some like, yeah, it's a caveman cave kind of thing. That's all I'm gonna say there. And so something about that is sexy. She has that appeal, right? And so she's using that. She used that to get further. So I say that she could have done it a different way, and that is get herself out there enough that she could build a life coaching business. Because I personally don't like the term life coaching. I was a life coach, and that when that was like 2012, and I did my mentor back then was like, well, just start a coaching business. And I was like, I don't like that term, and I want more than that. And then she's like, well, there are certification programs where you can become a life coach. And I was like, okay, that's just a certification program that somebody created, but there's more. I need more. And so that is when I decided to get my master's in clinical mental health counseling. And I did not want to go back to school. I'm good at school, but I think that we over school ourselves. I think a lot of life can be experienced. And I tell my nieces and nephews and the people around me, the young people around me, yes, go to school if you have to. If what you need to go to school for requires a degree, go do it. And that's what Cheyenne didn't do. She did not continue. She did not complete the work. And that is okay. That is okay to say that I started it and I went in a different direction. Like, why didn't she just tell her story? She has a story, and her story is important and it's meaningful. And I'm sure there could have been thousands of women who would have identified with that story. Like, I went and I started school, and then life got in the way and I got distracted. I don't know. I got in this relationship and I started putting, because she seems like the type of woman, she's a bit of a pick me. Like, she seems like the type of woman that likes the attention of men based on what I've seen of her. I don't know her. Again, that is my opinion. It is not important. Um, and when she was picked, it's likely that she thought that was going to be enough. But let me tell you, women, and these for the women who are watching, get your own money. Yes, I work with barbers who are probably 80-90% male and about 10 or 20% female. When I was a barber, it wasn't even 1% female. So if it is 20%, that's on the high end. And so, but women, get your money, have your own money. I have a friend right now whose husband passed away, and he used to run the money. He makes the money, and she is getting this rude awakening of what the money was and wasn't. And yeah, there were times where they had lots of money and times when they didn't. And they did not have as much as she thought they had, and they live a good life. But he probably was stressed out trying to keep that life sometimes. And I think he could have told her that, and she would have adjusted her behavior, but she didn't know. So she was not asking, just spending. Anyway, I say all that to say, women, have your own money. And that could have been what Cheyenne Bryant thought she was going to do. She was going to marry rich and she wasn't going to have to do nothing. I have judged Miss USA pageants. And in those pageants, those women have told me they went to law school to find a husband, law school to find a husband. They never intended to be a lawyer. They went to law school to find a husband, and it would look good on their pageant application. That is what they told me. I heard that from pageant contestants. So I know that it's a thing. I know that women do it, but I also know that it can get you caught up. You should always have your own money in some way. Put some money away. I don't care if you make him put you on the allowance and you put some of that money away. Okay, that's my PSA for women. Have your own money. Make sure you have a something that you control so that you know that you're going to be okay. And those retirement accounts are called individual retirement accounts, IRAs in America. Now, sometimes in other countries that might be different, but you need to have your own. And if you're with a man who is paying all the bills, then he needs to be paying that. All right. So again, PSA, sorry, carved out that information. Let's go back to our topic where Cheyenne Bryant misled people, and that wasn't fair. She was misleading. That is not my opinion. That is fact. That is exactly what happened. And the language that she used, a psychology expert, I think, and life coach, a psychology expert and life coach. Maybe she didn't love the life coach title. Maybe the life coach title didn't make her feel prosperous or prestigious. And so she really wanted to lean on that psychology expert side. She leaned on it so much that when she got in the room, these podcasts move so fast that you end up saying things. I said something on the podcast last week that I was like, why did I say that? Like, I wish I could have told them to edit that out. And I feel like I'll clean it up. If it comes out, I'll apologize and I'll explain what actually was saying, like right there, because it's just a little snippet, but that little snippet can be misunderstood. And so yeah, these podcasts move very fast, and there's a lot to be said and a lot that you will say. And when you say those things, you can't take them back. You can't take them back. It's too late. They're out there. And you're like, oh crap, what did I say? What did I say? What did I say? You sometimes don't even know what you said. So I believe that things got away from her. And over the 2 years, she just kept going and kept going and kept going. And if I was talking to Cheyenne, if Cheyenne was a friend of mine or even a client of mine, I would say to her, okay, first, own your shit. Own it. Own it. Get out there. I would say what it is. Look, I did not finish my doctoral program. I intended to. Me and my supervisor, or whoever that person is that is over your dissertation, we did not see eye to eye. We did not get along, like whatever it is. And I quit. I could have stayed in, but I didn't know how to. I didn't have the wherewithal. Like, own your story, tell it, tell your story. No excuses. Because one of the things that you do, Shy, is that, did I just give her a nickname? I told you, it's my girl, my friend. I'm talking to my friend. So one of the things you do, Shy, is that you don't own it. You excuse, you play the victim. You can't play the victim this time. You got to stay strong. You're either gonna be strong or you're gonna be the victim. You can't toggle between the two. So which one you gonna do? All right, we're gonna choose strong because that's what I know you to be, girl. And so you're gonna stay strong and you're gonna say, yeah, I messed up. I got caught up in the fame wind, right? It just swept me up. It swept me up. And these men were giving me these compliments. And I love compliments from men. Okay. I love my men. Okay. I see y'all. I see you seeing me. Right. And it felt good. You got your little ego boost. So now I got my ego boost and I did do some things. Like, I have a master's degree. I have a bachelor's degree. I did go into a doctoral program. And and I wanted people to see that part of me, but I did that was the only part that I was showing them, and that wasn't true. So now Cheyenne, now you gotta, now that you have been honest and you've been powerful, now the next thing you're gonna need to do is apologize. And not to the people who don't care. You don't need to apologize to me, the person who never, I don't think I watched any full video of yours. But, and I'm talking about Kiné, but this role that I'm playing as your friend, um, you don't owe me an apology because I know you, girl. But that doc squad that you created, they don't know you. They don't know who they were following. So you do owe them an apology. And I'm going to give you a reference. Um, Chalene Johnson had to do this back in, I think, like 2018. You would have to go look for her videos, or maybe you send her a message and ask her, because she's very generous. She is, with a certain amount of time, she will be willing to give you a certain amount of her time. If you reach out to her and you say, I see you apologize back in 2018 about you leading your fitness brand and lying to your followers, and she is still on top because she did that apology. She attracted me into. I saw Chalene for years, but I never followed her until she made that apology, and that's when she came. And I was like, "Whoa, who is this woman who stood on hers? Who said I made a mistake?" So look for her. Look for her, Chalene Johnson. See what she did. See if you can follow that and see if she'll give you any of her time, because she is very generous and she might, if she has it. Um, and so when she tells you whatever it was that she did, she would, I don't know what it feels like to apologize like that. I might have to do it one day. And I know it takes some guts. And I know you probably don't want to do it because your ego is telling you. But this is where I'm going to tell you to go get some spiritual guidance. But also, you're going to tap back into that little girl who was hurt, who the one little girl who made you decide to do this. And listen to her. Just see if you can quiet your mind and just breathe. And when you do that breathing, this is what I would do in hypnotherapy. Take take yourself back to little girl and ask her, what are you afraid of? What are you afraid will happen if you apologize? And let her tell you. And then you can decide in the moment, can you handle that? Can you handle that happening? If you like, no, I cannot, then don't do it. Because your subconscious brain can only take so much. But if you can handle it, then get your conscious brain out the way. Because right now, your conscious brain is leading and it's getting in the way and it is going to mess you up. You will not be able to continue after this. But you should be able to if you apologize. So that's the second thing you're going to do, right? Tell your story, the real story, apologize. And then the third thing you're going to do is just shut up. Be quiet. Don't say anything. They're going to come at you. They're going to come at you. And those people who come at you, so what? Let them come at you. You don't owe them anything. But that audience that you built up, those clients that you did have, if you had any, I don't even know if you did, if you had any, those podcasts that you went on, you gave information. You told people what to do. You told women, give yourself to your husband fully and completely. You don't even know their husband. Their husband could be a complete asshole. He don't deserve that. He don't deserve her fully and completely. If he hasn't built her up, if he hasn't made her life better, if he hasn't made her look good in the eyes of his family and her family and the rest of the world, if he hasn't built her up the same way she's built him up, because sometimes women have built men up. Behind every good man is a great woman, or whatever the saying is, right? She had built him up and she prepped him up so he can go out and do his work. And meanwhile, he's been beating her down emotionally and mentally, maybe not physically, but sometimes physically too, using, abusing her. You don't know her situation. And you telling her, oh, I'm going to give myself to my husband fully and completely. If he earns that, not every man has earned that. Not every man has been taught, and that's why I do what I do. I build men up, I teach men so their wives don't have to, because their wives come to me and they are tired. And they're like, he comes home, he gives all of this to the world. He comes home and he treats me like shit. And can you do something? Can you help him? That's wives come to me and say that. And I'm like, yes. And I am so honored for the wives. A lot of my referrals, the businessmen I work with, not the barbers, the businessmen I work with, a lot of them have come to me because of their wives. Yeah, sometimes they're doctors, sometimes they're financial advisor, but more than anything, their wife refers them to me because the wives are tired. They are being mentally abused, emotionally abused, sometimes physically abused, and they don't have anything left. And they have been his therapist, and they can't do it anymore, and they shouldn't have to. They shouldn't have to. And maybe you haven't met those men, maybe you haven't dated those men, but something tells me you have. You know why? Because you're single right now. So I know you know that man. And I know you know most of these men don't deserve to be loved fully and completely. And if you follow the Bible, I follow all the books. I am not a Christian, but let me tell you what the Bible says. It says, men, love your wives. Nowhere in there does it tell women to love their husbands. Obey your husband. But if you obey your husband, it has to be a man who is wise enough to lead you. And if he can't lead you, then you should not be following him. So, Cheyenne, you got to be quiet and stop telling these women to do things that you're not doing. Tell your story. Because when you tell your story, there's a bunch of women who thought that if they put their lives in a man's hand, they was gonna be okay. If you say, I thought all my life I was gonna marry rich because I was fine and I was beautiful, and that ain't happened. So now I'm on here, trying to make some money off y'all. And So far, so good. So far, so good. But I gotta kind of lie and pretend and be somebody I'm not. And I blame y'all for that because y'all, society made me do that. Society made me do that. But I take responsibility. It ain't my fault, but it is my responsibility. And I did it. I did it. I did it. I didn't create society the way it is, but I followed it and I didn't have to do that. So I asked for your apology. And then I'm going to be quiet for a while and I'm going to go within and I'm going to do some healing and I'm going to get my own therapy and maybe some spiritual guidance. And then I'm going to come back. And for those of you who are saying, you know what? I rock with you. I roll with you. I fuck with you. If y'all still want to fuck with me, come on. Let's do this. I will still lead you because I am still powerful. I am still a leader. That is what I do. I lead. People follow me. I don't know why. I don't even know that I know what I'm doing. But whatever it is that I'm doing, fuck those degrees. They don't mean nothing to me. I don't have them. Some I do, some I don't. It don't matter. What I do want you to know is that I'm gonna lead you somewhere together. We're gonna go, but you tell me what you need, and I'm gonna figure out how to get that for you. That's what you tell them, and that's all I got. I just channeled that. Don't ask me to repeat what I just said because I will not be able to. But this is what I do. This is Kiné talking. This is what I do. I see you, Cheyenne. I see you. I see you. And I know what happened to you. And it ain't fair what happened to you. But it did happen. It's not your fault, but it is your responsibility to do something about it. Own it, apologize for it, be quiet, come back and see if there's anybody who's ready to listen and join with you. And then make your money off of your story. Write your book, whatever you got to do. Tell these women who have made the same mistakes you have that you'll lead them into a different version of that story. Because you are a leader and you are beautiful and you are powerful and you did what you did. What you did, everybody couldn't do that. So they should give you your props. You did something. You were courageous. You lied, but you were courageous. But let me tell you, there are so many men who are at the top right now because of the lies that they told. And they have covered up those lies and they have covered up those lies. You weren't able to do that. Nobody had your back. So you got to start over. You can do it. That's what I'll say. And I'm just going to send this video out. I don't think you'll get it. But if you do, you are not alone. I love you muchly. See you sooner.